This first video, we will cover some of the basic features of the church musician. One of the things you need to do early is to go to the Preferences menu. You'll find that under File, and open that box and fill in the details here. And you'll need to find your Acrobat 7 or 6 or 5, whatever you have, and the media player. And then if you have email, fill in your email details, check that this computer has internet access, and go to the toolbar options. Here you can have all of these up, as I have here, or if you're not using some of them and need more room, just simply click these off and you'll have only the ones that you've opened up. I like to have the Microsoft toolbars up so I can work back and forth as I'm working in the church musician. Let's make application, preferences are set, and we'll close. Now we'll open a library. Let's open, for example, the Octavo library. We're working with the basic design of the church musician. All of the icons that you see up here are the same in each library. We can move forward to the end, back to the beginning, so forth. If you're starting a new record, click here. Rather than editing, you're going to click to open and have a brand new record. Every time you make a change, this question comes up. We've made changes in the current record, and do you wish to have the changes saved? And in this case, I don't want to save a blank record, so I'll say no. Now I'm going to go back and let's look at creating a second copy of this same record. Why would you do that? Well, let's say that you have an SATB arrangement, and of the same song you have a TTBB arrangement. Well, of course, you can make a copy of this record and then go and make your changes in the choir, ensemble, library number, and so forth, and it just saves you time. You'll find many things here that we've attempted to place in the musician so that you may save time and get your job done quicker. We'll deal with the in-depth search a little bit later on. And now the Browse file. This gives you a listing of everything you have in your library. Notice it's in alpha order. That's the default. However, let's say that you would like to see this in, let's say library number. Right-click on the library number, and up there in the right-hand corner, you noticed it's now set in library order number. Let's look at the Browse, and there it is. Now, of course, we have several blank records in here, but then starting with the numbers, they're all numerically correct. I would mention to you that if you are, let's say you think you have in the hundreds, then I would always start number 1 with 001. That way they are in the correct order. Otherwise, if you just start with library number 1 and without the 00, then you're going to get 1 through 9, and then you're going to get 11 and so forth like that. So just remember to use 00, or if you have 1,000 or more, start with 0001. And that way it places everything in the correct order when you want to see the libraries. If you want to go back to the default, click the AZ, and that puts you back in the default alpha order. Simple search, we click that. You'll notice that this comes up, and here are all of the items upon which you can base your search. However, there's a nice shortcut here. Rather than having to use that drop-down button and find what you're looking for, go to, let's say you want to search on title. Double-click on title, and here it is, without you having to go on the drop-down screen and find it. In The same situation, just so you understand it. Let's double click on library number, and there it is. You see, otherwise I would have to hunt on this drop-down screen all of the items and find the one I want. So that's just another shortcut. Here are several other things that help you. As you're looking for a composer, we've got a lot of composers listed here, again by last name in alphabetical order. You can also add to it. You don't have to use this, but of course it helps if it's just a normal composer, one that you use or one that you know about. And of course the author, publisher, and topics. And again, many topics here, which you can add to or take away. MIDI file, you can add a MIDI file. Let's click on the box that says MIDI file. Go over here to edit, and we're going to insert the item. Now I don't have a MIDI file for this particular one, but just to show you how it's done, we'll look at it. We'll create it from file, it says. In other words, a file that you have on your hard drive or on a disk or whatever. And we're going to browse. And in this case, I'm just going to pick a MIDI file I know is there. Service Designer has about 2,000 MIDI files in it. So we'll just pick one here so you understand what we're dealing with here. We'll just pick that one and say OK. Now it's over here. And notice and there it is. So if you understand that principle, you'll see it working all the way through. If you have a related item, in other words, let's say the Kingdom of the Lord has an orchestration. Now you could go to the orchestration file and completely place all of these items, in other words, retype them in. But instead, we've given you a shortcut. Click on orchestration. Should this item be added to the orchestration library? Yes. And the interest, it says it already exists. So we will just simply say OK. Now it's there. The same thing, let's say we have a record of it. Should this item be added to the recordings? Yes. And now it's added to the recording. You may have to go in and place some other details there, but you have the basic information there. Some of the other details here, the usage file. Let's say you want to add today's date. Click on Add Date, and it is there immediately. Or let's say that we want to change it. All we do is just move it here. And let's say it's the 30th or whatever. They can all be edited that way. If you want to place lyrics in it, you can do it one of two ways. You can type the lyrics in, or you can actually paste them in. You can have labels from this. Some of you have the Gamble boxes. Others of you may have the Best box or other boxes. You can print labels, vertical or horizontal, however you like it. The related box says that, let's say it has a flute solo, and I just want to remember that, so I'll put that in. And I'll return. And then let's say checkout. Here's another situation. Let's add a checkout for this particular one. And let's say Patty Lou checked it out on this particular date, and there it is, and a place to indicate when she has returned it. The comments are somewhat the same as related. You can place any item. It's just a free form that you may type in any detail. We'll deal with HTML a little later. This user is to allow you to set up fields that you would want to include that are not in the basic library. So that pretty well summarizes the basis of each of the library's operation. Many of them have little distinctive changes, but that's the basis of it.